What is up, everybody? And yes, I know you're looking at a black screen right now. We're going to go into a game that is, well, it might be a little risque for certain people. It's might be able to hit home on for some people. I don't know. But I just want to get all those warnings out there before anything really is displayed. So this game is going to be very educational. But as you know, sometimes the truth hurts. So this game is banned in certain countries around the world. So, well, here we go.
V březnu 1939 obsadilo nacistické Německo zbytky Československa. Vládcem nad vyhlášeným protektorátem Čechy a Morava se později stal Reinhard Heydrich, prominentní nacista a jeden z hlavních strůjců holokaustu. 27. května 1942 provedli českoslovenští parašutisté na Heydricha úspěšný atentát. Odveta byla brutální. Více než 1500 lidí bylo popraveno, 3000 Židů byli poslány do koncentračních táborů. Nacisté vyhladili české obce, Lidice a Ležáky. Protektorátu zavládl strach.
Okay. Yep. Like I said, hopefully you guys paid attention to the warnings up front. So, as you know, this game takes place in World War II. So, not your best, area to really be in. So, let's play. This game is based on historical research and real testimonies, yet the characters in the game and their stories are fictionists. Prague, 2001.
Ahoj, nezapomeň se večer stavit za babičkou, potřebuje pomoc s tím
Hi,
balením.
Grandma. How you doing?
A stěhováci přijedou už zítra ráno. Já jdu za dědou do nemocnice. Máma.
Okay, well, at least we know Grandma and Grandpa are still around, so that's good. Your grandma lived in Prague throughout the war. I don't mind some of these cinematics. That's a cool radio. Can I keep it?
Jo, může si ho
You can keep
nechat.
it.
To
All
jsme
right.
s dědou
You listen to the radio when your grandpa was
než ho
taken away by the
odvezlo
Gestapo.
Gestapo.
Oh, we have the Gestapo in here. Ooh, why was Grandpa taken by the Gestapo? Ooh, Prague, 1942.
Vidím to, jako by to bylo
I
dneska.
see it like it were today.
Děda hrál na
Grandpa plays
klavínek
some
nějakou
song that I didn't
písničku,
know I
kterou
heard.
já jsem neznala.
Oh, we gotta change the audio here. Oh my god, it's kind of loud, isn't it? There we go. Put it down for a minute. Could you help me a bit? I like the art style here. Very good art style. Calm down, it's someone from the office. Is it though? They've known you taking the day off. I don't like it. Have you gone mad? Such noise, jazz music right now. Eh? Don't you know what happened? Turn on the radio. Today, 27 May, around 10:30 a.m., the Deputy Inspector and Police General, so Obergruferheiner, Reinhard Heydrich, was assassinated. Oh my God. The Deputy Inspector was traveling in the direction of Brinsky in his car in the city district, Sarah Lieben, and he wanted to turn on the V. Hostrak Street. A man stood in the way of the car and tried to shoot at the person sitting in the car with an automatic pistol. Meanwhile, a second man threw explosives at the car. They exploded upon impact. After the assassination, one of the men escaped via Kirchmund. I don't know how to say that. Most likely heading to the other perpetrator ran away on bike prepared for the escape and headed toward the Sarah Lieben neighborhood. This perpetrator was a man of medium size. He was wearing a dark gray clothes and dark hat. The other perpetrator was wearing possibly dark brown clothes and brown shoes. A reward of 10 million crowns is being offered. That'd be a lot of money back then. For any information from any citizen that leads to the capture of the perpetrators. Today, 27 May, around 10:30 a.m. Okay, that's it for that. He's been assassinated. I can't believe it. I am terrified they will seek revenge in a terrible way. A man stood in the way of the car and tried to shoot at. What's up, Gigi? The leaflets. Hide them. I will stall the Gestapo. Yes, I have. Hiding the leaflets. I only had a few seconds to hide the leaflets. You must decide where Luna will hide the leaflets. Choose a spot to hide them by clicking on different spots. Okay. Can we hide them here? They searched the bed carefully, including the duvet and mattress. Fortunately, I hid the leaflets elsewhere. Oh, okay. When the Gestapo broke into the room, they started to shout at me in German. I was trembling when they opened the doors and started rummaging through everything. Finally, they took your grandpa away. I didn't know then, and I would not see him until after the war. Find out why the Gestapo arrested Grandpa. Figure out what Grandpa had to do with Heinrich's assassination. Ooh, interesting. Did they find the leaflets? Luckily, they did not find the leaflets. I hid them well. That's good. What sort of leaflets were they? They were anti-German leaflets from the war. Some friend gave them to him. His name was Mata Kidja. He lived here in the Vidhodja somewhere. I don't have any idea if he's even still alive. Can I see the leaflets? I don't know if I can find them. Grandpa had them hidden somewhere in his things with his other stuff from the war. I will go look. You can look through them. All right, your grandpa's belongings from the war. Okay, let's look at that. They used to receive cards in the mail with orders explaining where and how often we could send them. Our letters and packages of family members in the camps. From time to time, I could send Grandpa a package, but I had to plan everything in advance. What to get, how to get, or to save him things from my own rations. Cigarettes were always the biggest problem. They were rationed, but only for men. So I always had to beg some friend or relative to give me a few. At least in this way, I could help Grandpa a little. Okay, let's look at that.
Letáky
A friend of Grandpa who was in the resistance gave him the leaflets at the start of the war. Grandpa had them in the credenza. Sometimes he would take them out. Honestly, I don't have any idea why he kept them. Grandpa became ill just before his liberation from the book wall. And his concentration camp, jeez, oh Pete's. So he stayed there for some time even after he was liberated. He returned sometime in June 1945. The Americans had set up a hospital in the liberated camp. Photographs from Auschwitz, holy cow, where Grandpa met a Roma girl from Czechoslovakia. She was released before he was, so she came to find me, to tell me that Grandpa was alive. That poor girl. The Germans killed almost entire her family. Auschwitz, man. I don't know if I want to play this. What's up, Deuce? What's up, Bob? After the war, Grandpa joined the Union of Anti-Fascists, and he helped the woman he met in Buchenwald who needed confirmation. So she'd been in the camp, so she would receive reparations. He also helped her arrange a visit to the health spa, and she sent him this postcard from there. I have a feeling, even though I know a lot about the Holocaust and World War II, I might learn some stuff here. Transferred to Auschwitz and finally ended up in the Buchenwald. I mean, Auschwitz was nothing fun to be at. He had a feeling that something terrible was happening in the concentration camps, but we didn't know that they were commuting mass murder. And the prisoners couldn't write about their experiences. That was strictly censored. When you live in a world where nothing is said the way it is, the way it actually is, it's hard to tell what's the truth and what's a lie. Well, that is very true right there. As you could say that in today's society. No one knows what the truth is or a lie. They wrote about Grandpa in the Holocaust. That was the newspaper for the Union of Anti-Fascist Fighters. Many years ago, Grandpa even worked there for a while. Wow, alright, back to chat here. Hello, watching sisters. Dogs are going nuts being in the yard, barking because the window crew. Hair is fun being a puppy. She's going to sleep for the next 5 days. Alright. And everyone else is just saying hi, 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 hi. Alright. I don't think we looked at this thing yet, did we? No. We had to write in German so the German censors could read it. Go figure. They were extremely important to me because I knew he was still alive. Those years of waiting were terrible. The beginning was the worst, and the fear was helplessness. But I told myself I had to be strong, and if I held on, Grandpa would hold on too. Every day I went to church to pray for him. Yes, it is, Deuce. This is based on when German infiltrated the Czech Republic. And it's Grandpa got taken away, got sent to a concentration camp, even though that the names and all that have been changed and all that to, you know, protect everybody and stuff like that. But yeah, that's why this game is banned in some places. What's up, Karsten? How you doing? Okay. So we have all the information gained. All right, so now we can go someplace. We have 0 coins, though. We probably want some coins, probably. Let's go to Grandpa. Should we go to Grandpa? Let's go to Grandpa. Your grandpa, arrested by the Gestapo during the war. Well, Grandpa doesn't look too good. Hi, Grandpa. Yes, but it is banned. It is banned in lots of Europe. It's not banned in the U.S., but it is banned in most of Europe. And it's weird, too, because the developers of this game, they got written permission from the German government. And it wasn't Germany that banned it. It was Google that banned it. So, yeah. Google is the one who banned it. All right. Well, we went through all this stuff. All right. Yes. Okay, where do we want to go here? I mean, I guess let's make a phone call. Grandpa's armored buddy, member of the resistance movement during the war. All right, let's go. And they just came out with the sequel of this game too. It's based on people from Poland, I do believe.
Co si přejete?
But I'm not positive. Do you live? Did you live? How about can we ask you about your past?
Co to na mě zkoušíte? Chápu, že si musíte nějak na sebe vydělávat, ale co je moc, to je moc. Dneska už mi dvakrát volali kvůli nějakým slevám pro důchodce. Jednou pojištění, po druhé se slevy na telefon. Takže...
I'm not interested. Oh, no. Well, I guess we picked the wrong thing there, so let's talk to her then.
Prosím.
Hello? Plus, this is like a movie too, right? Can I speak to Marie?
A co jí chcete?
What do you want with her? I want to find out something about my grandpa.
Bohužel není doma.
She's not home. Maybe try again tomorrow. What? Oh, come on. No one's home today? I mean, Grandpa's sick in a hospital. Grandma's tired. I guess we go back to Grandma. It's the only thing that's lit up. All right. How did Grandpa keep the Gestapo distracted? Good afternoon. Stop Pelosi. Here, Jelinek. Are you alone? Gestapo Response. He had to come up quickly. No. My wife is in bed. Wait, and I'll wake her. No, my wife is in bed, and I'll have to wake her. Yes, we'll use the sentence. They never would have let Grandpa go into the room by himself. Grandpa said that I was getting dressed. That held them for a while, and I had time to hide the leaflets. Haha. All right. We didn't gain any coins still? Come on, we need to get some coin. No, my wife is in the bedroom. Wait, she's dressing. Fra Jelinek, hurry up. House search. So the Gestapo busted in here for no reason? This is what happened. Grandpa and I were going on a trip back to Jindrich to see my parents. Before we left, Grandpa was going to stop in the bazaar to pick up something. But then he ran into a friend, and the friend offered to grab it for him. It was lard. Food was rationed during the war. Anyway, Grandpa got back early. And then the assassination happened, and it was terrible. That's when the Gestapo showed up, took Grandpa, and led him away. No, Denmark was not one of them. But if you do a Google search on it, Karsten, you will see that it is banned in countries. That's why the thumbnail the way it is. And the title. It happened right here in this apartment. We have lived here since 1940, right after we got married. But during the war, they moved me out because it was too big for one person.
chtěli...
And they wanted the apartment for people who lost their homes during air raids.
Byty nastěhovat. Po válce jsem
After the
došel
war, I
do
returned to the
toho
apartment before
bytu
Grandpa came back from the
ještě
camp.
dřív, než děda přišel z koncentráku.
I mean, can you imagine that? You're living in a house, Gestapo just comes right in, you're like, hey, get out. We need your house because it's too big. And we have people that need to live here. I mean, I can't imagine just that doing. What'd you do after Grandpa took you away? I didn't know what to do. The Gestapo ransacked our apartment. Everything was a mess, so I started to clean. Well, yeah, it's a mess. Grandpa was a sep with Jelinek. The record was banned, but fortunately, the Gestapo didn't notice. Okay. Grandpa was an avid photographer. Your great-grandparents gave us money for the radio as a wedding present. Grandpa used to listen to foreign broadcasts on it. I can't even imagine that. I guess we got to pick up the papers. I had been altering an old dress to make it into a skirt. Clothing was rationed just like food, and it was harder and harder to find. I had already pinned everything together for sewing, and they threw it all about. Yep, they didn't care. Got to put away his clarinet. That's how we first became acquainted. He used to play at the medical students' ballroom dance before the Germans closed our school. Put the phonograph away. Can we pick up this stuff? We didn't go to the movies much during the war. I didn't care for films at all. If we did, we only saw Czech films. We didn't watch German films as a matter of principle, and the Germans gradually banned everything that wasn't German. But I liked to watch the occasional romance film, even if Grandpa would laugh at me and call them corny. Sounds about right. Okay, can I? No. Oh, there we go. I used to go to the theater to see performances. They were better than the movies. But when Heydrich came to power, the Germans shut it down for good. Okay, why can't I do this one? I was especially fond of this record. Grandpa gave it to me as a birthday present. It's a song from a film. Okay. I used to read Pestry-Tiden now and then. Grandpa liked looking at the photos. Under the Germans, it got worse and worse. Like all magazines and newspaper, so we bought it less and less. What else needs to be? Oh, geez, well, Pete, they trashed the whole house. Before the war, Grandpa took it on with the hikes he took with his scout troop. During the war, he needed it to stumble through Prague during blackouts. What's up, Jeremy? The Germans required everyone to work. Whoever didn't have a job had to register for employment at the labor office. I was fortunate to find a job at City Hall after they closed the universities. It was offered to me by an acquaintance who I used to know from my hometown, Mielik. It was the director there. Otherwise, I would have returned to Mielnik. Put this stuff away. What a mess. The ration coupons and the amount of items they gave us constantly changed. There were fewer goods as the war went on. Not to mention those endless lines. I used to visit the Czechs, this nice family who lived below us. Sometimes they would put something aside for one of the Jewish families who lived in the neighborhood, so their children would have milk, eggs, and things like that. Can't even imagine. This is my Kencut. It was my ID card. Everyone needed one. We were originally given a protectorate ID card, but we had to exchange them allegedly to make us more unified with the German Reich. I came to Prague in 1938 to study medicine. I wanted to be a pediatrician. I lived in a student dorm. When the Germans decided to close the universities, the Nazis occupied our dormitory and took people to the concentration camps. They left us girls alone, but I knew several of the young men they took away, at least in passing. Okay, we're almost done here. We still got 4 more items to find. Okay, that's one right there. Oh, there we go. Put the plant back. What am I missing here? Can't close that stuff. Nothing wrong with that. What's up, True? Remember, you don't watch me. You're just here in chat, right? All right, where are these last two things? Yeah, exactly. Just for the chat. I understand. Grandpa had a childhood friend who was in the resistance. He gave him leaflets at the start of the war. I took them from the fireplace and hid them under the floor in the kitchen. Aha. So there we go. I was exhausted, but I didn't go to sleep until I cleaned everything up. I didn't want those things scattered about to remind me of the Gestapo's search. Hey, we gained 2 coins, all right. Prague, 1942.
Ty noci poté, co odvedli
Those long nights
Jindřicha,
after they
byly
arrested were the
nejhorší v
worst in
mém
my
životě.
entire life.
Občas jsem si pustila
Sometimes I turned down the
rozhlas,
radio,
ale tam pořád
but all
dokola
aired were more
opakovali
appeals for
výzvu
information leading to the
odhalení
assassinations.
atentátníků. Také četli
They would also
seznamy
read lists of
okradených.
people they executed.
Modlila
I prayed
jsem
that
se,
Jindrich's
abych tam
name wouldn't be among
neslyšela
them.
Jindřichovo jméno.
Excuse me. Well, I'm not in the same room, true, so, you know. I mean, I could be, but I'm not.
Myslela jsem, že je to
I thought it was
Jindřich,
Jindrich.
ale byl to jenom
But it was just our neighbor,
soudcem
Mr. Malik.
Málek.
Lord knows where that collaborator had been.
Odkud se ten kolaborant vracel.
Speaking of the different language, holy cow. Got my mouth got all kind of messed up. Who was the neighbor that rang the doorbell?
To byl Málek odvedle.
You know him, don't you?
Znáš. Za války
He kissed up to the Nazis during the war. He was a journalist in the Protectorate. I was afraid of him. I felt like he was constantly watching us, always staring. After the war, he was accused of collaborating with the Germans. After the Gestapo took Grandpa away, they returned to speak with Mr. Malik. God only knows what he told them. Do you think Mr. Malik read it out, Grandpa? Hard to say. I don't know why he would do that. But during wartime, anything is possible. I see him on the stairs from time to time. There's nothing more to say. Okay, well, we got some information. Not all the information we needed, though, but some. All right, let's go talk to Mr. Malik. Your grandpa's neighbor. What do you want? My grandpa said that you were questioned by the Gestapo during the war and it had something to do with my grandfather. May I ask you some questions about what happened? Well, those were some tough times for me, and I don't really enjoy dwelling on them. I understand. We don't like talking. You don't like talking about it. We really want to learn about those times from someone who experienced in them. What am I going to do with you? Grandpa was arrested right after the Heydrich assassination. We all knew that the Nazis were going to be brutal. People who didn't live through it have no idea what it was like. Whatever happened to anybody in the 1950s or later, everyone's life was in danger. Today you see it differently. Everyone speaks about the paratroopers who assassinated Heydrich as heroes. They even built them a monument on the spot where it happened. What did you do after the assassination? I knew the Nazis would seek revenge on us all. Before it happened, only regular German soldiers and police patrolled the streets. On the day of the assassination, I saw the Nazis' SS standing at the intersections. And their faces looked that they would shoot us all. Loudspeakers on the streets repeated over and over the news about the assassination attempt. The next day, posters were everywhere. They said that anyone who knew about the assassination would be executed along with their entire family. Thousands of German soldiers and squads of SS search house after house. I can't even imagine that. All right, Prague, 1942. It occurred to me that I had a lot of dangerous things in my apartment. If the SS found them, I would have been sent to the firing squad. Yeah, probably. Destroying forbidden items. All right. An old revolver. I mean, we got to destroy it, though, right? At least, okay, that's fine. Typewriter, that's fine. What is this? That should be fine. Paperweight with the president, that should be fine. I mean, that should be fine, right? I mean, imagine. How about this stuff down here? Membership card for the national community. Well, thank you very much, Barb. Let's show some love to Barb out there. Shammer, it seemed like political conflicts were finally over, for better words, and Ailey thought this organization would unify us as one person. I guess we're going to destroy that. Analysis of Hitler. We got to destroy that, probably. Okay. And what's in here? I was an originator for the children of war veterans. My dad was one of the famed legionnaires who fought Russia after World War I. That should be fine. Membership card of the Boy Scouts. That should be fine. Book criticizing pro-Nazi political party. Criticizing. Yep. We gotta destroy that. What we got here? Metal. Oh, that's a Freemasons. Wow, he was a Freemason. Okay. It's kind of interesting. What we got here? Gymnastics. Yeah, that should be fine. All right. The key thing was getting rid of the revolver. It was the only thing that could put my life in danger, but the other things could have caused problems for me. Luckily, I kept my cool and got things sorted. All right, so we gained a coin there. I don't know what the coins do. No idea. Burned whatever I could in the stove. I wrapped the revolver in old newspapers and inconspicuously threw it away in the park. I wasn't the only person who did that. The Protector's police found a bunch of pistols and bayonets that people had been hiding at home. But now they realized it was a matter of life and death. But why were you brought to the Gestapo headquarters in question? Because of your grandfather. I didn't know this at first. I had been up all night writing something, and all of a sudden the Gestapo were at our building looking for me. Prague, 1942. The sun's up. I hope the editor-in-chief likes it. Excuse me, does Mr. Malik live here? That's me. Posla. Ba, 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 ba. Please get in the car. Don't be afraid. We only have a couple of questions. I mean, I'm assuming that's Grandma watching. So the Gestapo took you away. It was frightening. The Gestapo put me in a car and didn't say a thing the whole ride. I thought they were going to execute me. I had absolutely no idea what they wanted to talk to me about. What did the Gestapo ask you? It was about your grandfather. In all honesty, I knew almost nothing about your grandparents. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't have told them much. Aside from the fact that he was a postal worker and that he played his clarinet too loudly. Finally, after several hours, they lost interest in me and let me go home. So you know nothing about my grandfather's death. Why don't you ask your grandma about why they locked up your grandfather? She was sleeping around with that German, and if anyone was interested in getting rid of your grandpa, it would have been that German. It would be amazed at some people were capable of doing. They all got away with it. After the war, everyone considered me a louse. As if I enjoyed doing what I did, as if I had a choice. Ooh, the plot is getting thicker here. Okay, well, I mean, let's continue here. I mean, we got everything but one information, so we should be doing good. Okay, well, let's go back to Grandma then. I spoke with, yeah. I need to clarify something. Grandma, were you involved with the German during the war? Did you know some German man during the war? Well, of course. He was my boss. We knew each other from Milton. I met him once in Prague. He had moved here, and we saw each other on the street. I asked him where he worked, and he said City Hall. So I asked him if he might be able to find, and he did in the end. He found me a position, I started working there. And I didn't have to leave Prague. I was grateful to him for that. Okay, that makes sense. What did you do at City Hall? I worked there as a typist. I already knew how to type. And why were you meeting outside? Please don't remind me about that. After they locked up Jindrich, I kept saying to myself that I could help. So I went to Mr. Sokra and as an acquaintance of mine. And I thought that, well, anyways, he was quick to tell me that he had an acquaintance in the Gestapo. And that he would sort everything out. Mr. Sokra was very willing to help. And then he said he'd like to take me out to some fancy new restaurant. And that I should go there with him. And I fell for it. Like a stupid cow. So I ended up going. Okay. I do like this art style in the game. Goodness, there are Germans everywhere. I didn't realize that I didn't know how to address them. Good day, sir. Why so formal, my dear? It's a nice mix from the real to this, isn't it? We are not at work. Please, you can call me Wenzel. Or Wenzel. Excuse me, waiter. 2 cognacs. Wenzel, have you been able to find anything out about Jindrich? Yes, yes. Oh, they have excellent pate here. Waiter, please bring a plate of pate rabbit a la Marcel. And later, 2 coffees with a serving of apple strudel. Ja, here's Jindrich. You will not find the rabbit on the menu, you know. It is kept only for important people. I'm scared they won't ever let Jindrich out. You know, Mike, I never even thought of that, but that's exactly right. Wenzel, please. You promised to help us. Yes, but first let us toast to your bravery and beauty. Little rose, little rose, little rose red, little rose of the field. Ah, you are more beautiful than ever. My Ludmilla. The little rose fought thus, and pricked no prose of pain could help her. That is, go through, my darling. Suddenly I realized he didn't care about Jindrich. He'd been waiting for this opportunity for a long time, and now he had his chance. Just like a spider waiting for its fly. And I walked directly into his web. Ooh. His advances disgusted me, but I couldn't just leave. I was afraid he would be insulted and seek revenge. I had to find a tactful way to deflect his advances, and poetry came to the rescue. Select a poem and drag it to the empty bubble. Okay. We gotta select a poem, huh? Let's see here. So I wanted to speak out. I wanted to say, don't go any further. Robbers hide along the way. I wanted to speak out. Go home, flee. Treachery is lurking in the shadow of those trees. I like that one. These old men melt into their chairs. Faded in the sun, they look soulless, with eyes on the window where winter blooms draw, shivering the painful shivers of a toad. Summer is burning with fire on all sides, the bestowing blooms of the Acacia fields, as the green soul of grapes smolder on vines, wolf poppies among the grain do yield. I think we're going to go with this one here. We're going to use that poem. I wanted to speak out. I wanted to stay. I wanted to say, don't go any further. Robbers hide along the way. I wanted to speak out. Go home, flee. Treachery is lurking in the shadows of those trees. Before the morning star, I wandered into the desert to sow my freedom with pure heart, a joyous spirit. But in vain my work was squandered, my effort, my time, my inspiration. A man can be wildly excessive. It could be said that this is living. A man takes pride in sexual conquest and boasts of them. Foolishly in them, the poor fool, he sees a manifestation of power. Graze on you are not, driven by the voices. Oh, we're going to go with this one. The call your body sings in my blood. Let not your tenderest my chest harm. Retract your claws, my kitten wild. Be me love kind, show me your charm. There are 2 sorts of rats, you know. Some are hungry and some are full. The full ones, they stay home. The hungry ones, they do roam. Go lie down, forget it. Turn off the lights. Hug your pillow instead. On the bench, about to cut. Scissors of desire. Fear crawls within. I like this one. That's exactly what I said. I was able to refuse his advances and leave without getting involved in anything. Exactly, Mike, exactly. So before the night, have he ever propositioned you before?
Jo, já jsem ho
That's
znala
right, I
už
knew him
z
from milk.
Mělníka. To byl
He was such a
takový
sweet boy
kluk,
then.
on
He had a
jako
limp. I felt sorry for
kulhal a
him.
mě ho bylo líto. Tak jsme se
So whenever we saw
spolu
each other,
zastavili,
I'd stop and chat with him.
a on mi i
He did
napsal
write me a little poem
básničku.
once.
Ale po čase
And then sometime
jsem ho
later, I met him in
potkala
Prague.
v Praze a to nebyl
But he never
vůbec
was. He was
on.
never the same.
To byl takový
He had grown
suverén, to
cocky
byl
and
úplně
completely different
jiný
person.
kluk.
Do you think it was Silker who got Grandpa
To
arrested?
snad
I don't think so.
ne.
It wasn't like
To
that at
vůbec
all.
takhle nebylo. On vůbec
Him not at all.
vypadal,
He just took
jako
advantage of the
využíval
situation.
situace. On by takhle daleko nešel.
He wouldn't have
A
gone
s
so
těma
far. And his
jeho-
acquaintances, the
na těch
Gestapo,
příbuzných
I don't
na
know how
tom
it was.
gestapu,
I don't know.
To nevím, jak to bylo. Nevím, ale já na to
I don't like to
nerada
think of it. No,
vzpomínám.
no.
Ne. To bylo nějak jinak.
It was somewhat difficult. Okay, well, we're still getting information here. But I guess we have to go back because she's the only one. Oh, we could go back to Grandpa too, though. Why did they arrest Grandpa?
Samozřejmě,
Of course, Grandpa had
děda
nothing to do
s
with
nima
it,
nic
but they were
neměl,
angry
ale
and
oni
locking up
zabíjeli jako
everyone.
steklí každýho. A já nevím,
But I have no
jak na
idea what
děti
led them to Grandpa.
přišli,
No
ale
one ever
nikdo mi
officially
nikdy
explained the
nic o
reason.
té sérii neřekl.
And Grandpa never told you exactly why they arrested him?
Po válce jsme
After the
měli
war, we had
úplně
completely
jiný
different concerns.
starosti. Dědou to
It
nebylo
wasn't easy with
lehký.
Grandpa. He didn't
On
want to
o
speak
tom
about any of the
špatně
bad
nechtěl
stuff.
mluvit, a to víš, na to
You know,
špatně
it's hard
se
to forget the
špatně
bad things.
vzpomíná, ale on si psal
But he kept a
deník, já to
diary.
ani
I don't even
nevěděla.
know about
Když
it.
jsem tam něco
But I was looking
hledala,
for
já jsem
something,
to
and I
tam
found it in
našla,
his
jeho
things.
věcech.
Oh, so we have a diary too. Ooh, this could be interesting. Okay, we found a diary, 1938 to 1942. Okay. Open. Oh. Okay. Oh, it's encrypted. Okay. We have to figure out the language, don't we? Getting close. No, that was better that way, I think. Okay, yesterday. Okay, that's right then. So it's got to be this one down here, right? No. Yesterday, the call to arms was finally given. I froze when I listened to the voice on the radio. Oh, I guess I don't get to read it. Okay. 1939. I went to the cinema. Okay, let's look at 1942 then. I can't just sit around and watch what's happening in Prague. Father is pressuring me to graduate high school and lead a respectful life. He wants to arrange some job for me at the post office. How the hell am I supposed to just sit around and stare at the world from a service window in a post office? Especially now, as the Austrians enthusiastically welcome Hitler like a hero. My friend Joe gave up on his respectful life and left for Spain over a year ago to fight against Franco and his fascists in the Civil War. Unfortunately, I'm only 18 and can't join the army for 2 more years. That could be too late. I could join as a volunteer, but I need permission from my father. A strange coincidence. I ran into Colonel while crossing the bridge. I could see his bald, shiny head from a long way off, and I took this as a sign. I worked up the courage and spoke with him. I told him I wanted to join the army as a volunteer, my father's position on the matter. He seemed interested in my story and asked me why I felt so strongly about joining the army. This made me kind of upset. I said that everyone knows why, especially after reading his articles. He seemed pretty happy to meet such an enthusiastic fan. He promised to speak to my father and even wrote down our address and phone number. I guess we'll see. Okay. Wow, there's going to be a lot of this stuff, huh? I always give a side eye to Czechoslovakia when I play as Germany in Hearts of Iron. Yeah, it's probably good. Okay, how much is this stuff here? Oh, okay. Well, he joined. He went to basic training. He's been officially discharged from the final. It was useless there anyways. I have no idea what to do now. I can't go back to life as normal as nothing happened. He's hopelessness defeated. People avoid looking at one another. The enthusiasm I felt in the summer is completely gone. 1939. Okay. So here he is talking about when he spent time with Grandma here. How the Germans forbade us from celebrating holidays. Oh, it's a leaf. Why so lucky? I can tell you, when I was in the service, I kept a journal too. Oh, they got married. There's their house. Okay, we met a new person, Edward Bynes, huh? I like that he has to draw on ears and gave him a mustache and all that. It's kind of cool. Okay, he was Jewish. Okay. That was interesting. A Jewish friend? Oh, you know, it could have been Egon Maris. Grandpa went to high school with him. And later they co-founded a band and played together. It was a good setup for them. But I didn't like Maris. He was a player. What mattered most to him was that the girls liked him, you know? I had no idea he was Jewish. Not at all. I don't know what he and Grandpa said to one another or what happened. They split up. Did Grandpa help him somehow? If he helped him, I definitely didn't know anything about it. I'd like to ask you a question. Do you know who they called the third? I know who the third was. It was Krejčár, huh? He was in the resistance. He gave people leaflets and he gave some to Grandpa. And when they locked up Grandpa, he came to ask about it. And I told him he was gambling with people's lives. They organized something. I don't know. I don't have any idea. All right, well, we have all the information gained. From Grandma, anyways. We can go to Krejčár now.
Co si přejete?
Thank you very much, Karsten.
Vzpomínám si. To už je na tom
So
vaše
your company is
firma
really
tak
that
špatně,
bad
že
off,
musíte
so they have to
chodit
go
po
door to door?
bytech?
I don't work for a company.
No, podle toho, co
Based
máte
on what
na
you're wearing,
sobě,
you really
tak
don't
na
look like a
nějakého
salesman.
obchodního agenta opravdu nevypadáte. Tak pojďte se mnou.
So come
dál
into
do
the
kuchyně,
kitchen with
pojďte.
me. Come on. I like how everyone is so inviting with people. Hey, come on
Dáte si
in.
kafe nebo čaj?
We'll take tea.
Prosím.
Please.
Cože vás to zajímá?
So what would you like to know?
Odboj za
The
války?
resistance during the war?
No, o tom mám samozřejmě
Well, definitely I can tell you
něco
something about it.
říct, ale nesmíme se moc
I have to
zapovídat,
meet
mám
someone in a
za
little
chvíli
while.
nějakou schůzku. No, odboj,
Well, actually,
to
we
přece byla
viewed
vlastenecká
resistance as a
povinnost.
patriarchy.
V roce 38
We wanted to
jsme
defend the
chtěli
Republic in
bránit republiku.
1938.
Bohužel,
But unfortunately, our
politici nám to
politicians didn't allow us
nedovolili.
that to happen.
Takže i hned po
So right after
okupaci
the occupation,
jsme
we
šli do
joined in the
odboje.
resistance.
No,
Unfortunately, a great number of
bohužel
people
celá
paid
řada
with their
lidí to
lives.
zaplatila životem.
I know that my grandpa was in the resistance with you. Could you tell me more about it?
Jelinek. Jindřich Jelinek, no ten vlastně
Actually, it
neměl
didn't have anything
spokojení
to do with the
společného.
resistance.
To máte nějaké
You have
špatné
some wrong
informace.
information.
K tomu vám
Otherwise, I really don't have anything to tell you.
nemám co říct.
Really? So he wasn't in the resistance? We're gonna have to repeat it. So we gotta repeat this interview here. We missed out. Will cost you 1 coin. Okay, we gotta do it. Okay.
Co si přejete?
I spoke with you over the phone. Yep.
Vzpomínám si. To už je
Skip.
na tom vaše
I'd like to ask you questions.
podle toho, co máte na...
Skip. We'll still drink with tea.
No, odboj, to přece byla vlastenecká
Okay.
povinnost.
Skip. What was that occupation like for you?
Já jsem měl
I
štěstí.
was lucky
na
that
mě
they never
nepřišli.
came after me.
Takže
So ultimately I didn't
nakonec
have to
jsem
fight.
bojoval se
Weapon in
zbraní
hand
v
until
roce
the
až
Prague
pražské
uprising.
povstání. Víte,
Prague
víte,
uprising.
kde začalo pražské povstání?
I don't know.
Měli jsme takovou
We
ilegální
had sort of an
skupinu,
illegal
tiskli
group.
jsme letáky,
Printed leaflets,
sháněli
sought news
zprávy
on
o
the production of
zbrojní
weapons.
výrobě. No a připravovali se
Yes, of
samozřejmě
course,
na
we prepared
povstání.
ourselves for the uprising.
To
That
ušlo opravdu
that was a
život.
matter of life and death. Prague factory. What's going on? Do you know what to do with it? I know. So the Führer's birthday. Well, I can't read that.
V těch obálkách
Those envelopes had information
byly
on weapons
údaje o
productions. If they
zbrojní
caught me, I would
výrobě.
get executed.
Kdyby je u mě našli, dostal bych pro vás.
Halt! What's in your bag? I had to answer carefully, so they let me pass without searching my things. Just an empty thermos and some old envelopes. I collect for stamps. Aha! We got past him. We gained 2 coins too. Okay, so we're doing something good there. Just an empty thermos and old thermos. I collect for camp. Just collect for stamps. It's okay. Kosher is a big stamp collector. They do. They slight, but I think it's mostly just because it's black and white, and it is in. I mean, you are in a big city, so it would be industrial. Okay, now we have to walk. What do we have to do here? Just click on the newsstand. You need to click to wait until it's safe to hand over living. Click on the icon at the right movement. Okay, we gotta wait until the guards go away. Oh boy. I waited until the soldiers left, and then I bought a newspaper. And then when I paid, I left an envelope on with the leaflets on the counter. Okay, then we're going to the train station. Gotta stop that guy, though, probably from seeing. Sir, buy a newspaper? Do you want to buy a newspaper? Yes. I bought the newspapers to get rid of him. That boy wouldn't take his eyes off me. As long as he was standing there, I couldn't do anything. I don't know what boy they were talking about. Okay. Doorman? You probably come to see Jerko. You'll have to wait. He hasn't arrived yet. And I won't let you into the courtyard by yourself. So do we have to jump on a train? Nope. I don't know what to collect here. It looks like he got delayed somewhere. If you brought him something, leave it here and I will give it to him. Yes, we're going to leave. I couldn't leave illegal leaflets with someone I didn't know. That could get us all thrown into jail. Okay, then we don't. Oh, we distributed some of them, though.
Nejtěžší předávka byla ale nakonec. Do filatelistického krámku Beneš jsem měl doručit dokumenty o zbrojní výrobě. Musel jsem být sakramentsky opatrný.
I had to be extremely careful. Next to the stack of newspaper lied a catalog of old stamps. Like it was just a randomly placed there. This was a sign that the coast was clear. Good day. Do you happen to buy old envelopes with used stamps? Of course, as long as the stamp is real. If the post office has delivered the letter, then we will take it even if it reads Führer's birthday. I might have something for you. Here we have a beauty. When you have some rare gem again, you definitely come in again. Me or someone else. Goodbye. Goodbye until better times. It was dangerous and extremely demanding in terms of its organization. It was not enough to have a copying machine. You also needed paper, which had to be purchased in small batches at different shops to avoid drawing anyone's attention. Of course, the most dangerous thing was circulating the illegal materials afterwards. Because from autumn of 1939 onward, the Gestapo arrested all sorts of people. This is interesting. Go on. Sometimes I hear, why didn't you just commit an act of sabotage instead, if it was so dangerous? Yes, sure, but it was also an important front in the resistance. You can't even begin to imagine the pile of propaganda crap. That's the media under the protectorate piled up onto it after Heinrich arrived. That's what we had to deal with. We tried to maintain among the people the desire to resist and to keep their hopes alive that the war would end in an Allied victory. But people were able to listen to foreign broadcasts. Not everyone, not to mention the fact that there were very strict punishments for listening to foreign radio broadcasts. Yes, and protectorate publications. They only served the occupiers and twisted everything around. In reality, they told us the exact opposition of truth. This is interesting. Go on. Of course, there were many illegal publications. The communists continued to print their newspaper. The military resistance also had their newspaper. And there were many others. For example, the Information Service of the National Liberation. Well, look at this. I got to get caught up in our conversation. I should have been somewhere else a long time ago. Man, we still missed out on tons of information, though. But, I mean, we got to move on, I guess. Who can I talk to? Anybody? Okay, we can go through the belongings. We can go through the diary. We can talk to Malik again. Let's go back to Grandma. Grandma seems like she's giving us lots of information. No, this is okay. This is a repeat. Don't want to do that. So it looks like we're going to have to repeat something here. This is the diary. No, we got everything out of the diary. Can we speak to him again? I mean, no, we got everything except for one. I think we got to talk to this guy again. Okay, repeat interview. Again. All right, let's see what this happens here.
Co si přeje?
Spoke with you over the phone. Okay, yep, I remember. I'm not going to ask you a few questions. Okay, well, that didn't work out. Okay, we're going to need all these coins. Holy cow.
Ano, no, podle toho.
Let's drink coffee this time. I think it's the same animation. Okay, so.
No, odboj, to přece byla vlastenecká povinnost.
What was the occupation like for you?
Já jsem měl štěstí.
I don't know.
V Praze se samozřejmě na mnoha místech demonstrovalo už předtím.
Aha, there we go.
Ale skutečné povstání začalo tady, na Vinohradech, u rozhlasu. To bylo 5. května, tehdy nikdo z nás...
So now they're taking over the radio station, so that's good.
Několik dní, než bude Praha svobodná. Obléhali jsme pak německou posádku ve škole na Lobkovicově náměstí. Bylo to asi 500 zkušených wehrmachťáků, kteří to do nás napravili kilometrama. Když kapitulovali,
after they surrendered, we went to defend the freight rail station. The fighting was worse there. Do you know about the atrocities that occurred? I don't know. There was an SA barracks at the middle school. It was defended by a couple hundred freshly recruited youngsters. I doubt they were even 18 years old. But they were still worse than the SS troopers. They took no prisoners, executed hostages, and even murdered our parliamentaries. When they later abandoned the school, we found the corpses of murdered prisoners in the basement. Please continue. It became clear the Germans were sending reinforcements to Prague to stamp out the resistance. And what about us? What did we have? Only some infantry weapons, rifles, and a few anti-tank guns, and a machine gun here and there. But the Germans showed up with artillery, bulletproof units, and even the Air Force. The only thing we had to use against them were armored trains. Well, those armored trains needed trained armors, so they sent me from the freight depot to the Prague armored train. I fought on that train not only during the Prague uprising, but also in the borderlands. That's another story altogether. Well, I want to hear that story. Okay, well, you got caught up again, darn it. It's going to take us forever to get the whole interview out of this guy. See, we still didn't gain any more information. All right, is there anything we can go to, though? Let's talk to Grandma. No, that's right, Grandma's dead. Not dead, but done. I mean, it looks like I have to just keep on getting 100% on everything here. Let's redo it again. Let's drink coffee. Let's drink water this time. Okay, so. Yep. Okay, the occupation was like for you. Okay. Of course I know that. There we go. Okay, at the train station. People have been protesting many spots. Okay. I actually want to ask you about something else. I'm interested in the story of my grandpa.
Jindřich Jelinek, no.
Okay, good. Okay, now we got somewhere. Of course I knew him. I met him in 1938 during the mobilization. He had to volunteer because he hadn't been in the military before. He didn't even know how to use a gun. Grandpa wrote in his diary that you were friends. I felt a bit sorry for you, Grandpa, because of his enthusiasm was very genuine, even if slightly naive. So I took him under my wing to protect him. The older guys laughed at him and said, when things are at their worst, little Jindrich will throw down his gun and grab his clarinet and blow into it so forcefully that the enemy will flee. I'm trying to figure out why my grandfather was arrested. We never actually found out why they arrested your grandpa. I saw it with my own eyes, as so they say. I had the information firsthand. Alright, another cartoon. I had woken up after working my night shift and took my dog for an afternoon walk. Really like this art style. This art style is very good. The Germans will respond with fire and brimstone. Oh, excuse me. Oh no. The Gestapo arrest Heinrich. It was really bad because Heinrich knew that I was in the resistance. If they forced him to confess, I would have been taken next. I've also asked your grandma about all this, but she never wanted to speak to me about it. All she would say is that our resistance served only to make people miserable. Nevertheless, your grandpa's arrest most likely had nothing to do with the resistance. I read in my grandpa's diary. Well, when someone had to disappear, or as they called it, that meant to go into hiding. We would try to make fake, counterfeit identification documents for them. Usually the type of situation involved younger Jews who were just trying to avoid deportation. One time, Jindrich showed up and said he had a friend, a Jew, who needed to disappear. So we said yes, but he had to find a civil ID card for him. In the end, your grandpa handed over. We just changed the photos, painted in a stamp, and that was it. I never met the person, so I don't know who it was. But it's possible that he was caught. Okay, he's done with this again. But I have one more thing. Oh, not too long ago, a young man was here from the Post-Bellum Foundation, which records and collect the stories of war veterans and political prisoners. During the conversation, I learned that this young man had spoken to your grandpa. Aha, so we're going to get somewhere. Try asking him over there. Aha, okay, so we're moving on. All right, so we got everything now except for one. So that's not bad. Okay, Post-Bellum. Your grandpa's interview with the journalist from Post-Bellum. Jeez, oh, Pete. All right, Auschwitz. Let's listen to the arrest first, I guess. I don't like to talk about it because it didn't end well. You mean your friend didn't survive? Indeed, he didn't survive. He was my friend from school, Igan Maris. He was an Andonis, always chasing after pretty girls, and that's the main reason he created our school band. I was a clarinet player. We were very good friends.
Byli jsme velký kamarádi. Já jsem byl
I was always rather down to earth and everything.
Ve všem, no, střídmější. Za války,
During the war, everything fell apart. I got married and the band broke up.
No a kapela se rozpadla. Vlastně jsem
Although I never stopped hanging out with Egon.
přestal setkávat i s tím Egonem. A
sometime in the winter of 1942, I met him somewhere in town.
ve městě. To vypadalo hrozně.
He looked terrible. Well, because, you know, he didn't get on the deportation train, so he had to hide.
On byl Žid.
He was a Jew, but you never would have known it before then.
Nějak neprožíval. My jsme to snad ani
Not even his friends knew.
No, tak se z ní
And he became a fugitive.
Mně bylo jasný.
It was clear to me that I had to help him somehow, even if it was dangerous at the time.
Když to bylo tenkrát nebezpečný. Neměl žádný doklad.
He didn't have any papers, so if he was stopped, it would have ended badly.
To by dopadlo špatně. Pak jsem
But then I came up with a great idea that I would lose my documents and go to the police
doklady a že na policii a tam
and ask them to issue new ones.
aby mě vystavili nový. Tak jsem to
So that's what I
udělal a
did,
tu starou
and I took my old ID card to Kresjar,
jsem zanes ke Krejcarovi, který znal někoho.
who had a friend who knew how to fake documents, so Egon obtained an ID card with his photo on it.
Takže Egon měl občanku se svojí fotkou na moje jméno.
But in my name, this allowed him to get around.
Pohybovat po městě.
I mean, that would make sense. All right, the interrogation.
Já jsem vůbec nevěděl,
I had
co
no
se
idea
děje.
what was going on
Až když mi pak
until they
ukázali
showed me
moje, teda
Egon's
Egonovy
identification
doklady,
documents.
tak ve mně
Suddenly it
bylo
clicked and I realized that
jasný,
things were bad.
že víte, co to je?
Have you heard of the so-called Gestapo cinema at their headquarters?
To je
There's a
taková
bare white wall down in the
holá
basement.
místnost ve sklepě, bílá stěna, tam jsou
There were
lavice,
benches facing it like in the movies, but all you saw was that white wall.
stěna, bílá. Tam si začnete
And you began to
promítat
project onto it terrible mental images, what will or won't happen.
No, pak si pro vás
Well, then they
přišel,
come for you.
si přišel
For me, they
taková
sent some guy who was big as a mountain,
pak mi ukázali
and they showed me my
moje
old documents, the ones I had
staré
given to Egon.
doklady, co jsem dal Egonovi. Já jsem
I tried to
mu
tell them
řekl,
that
že
someone
mi
had
někdo
stolen them
ukradl,
from me.
a ten chlap
But that big oaf went after me with a wooden
si na
club
mě
and
vzal
said
pořádně tlustou hůl a řekl, že nemá cenu
that it
jít
didn't make sense to
zakoukat
protect anyone
a
by
kryt
denying it
někoho,
because
když už
he
je
was already
stejně
dead.
mrtvej. Já hned
I
věděl,
knew
že
immediately that I couldn't admit anything.
nesmím nic
Well, because they'd go
prozradit.
after Kresjar.
No, protože to by přišli na Krejcara, na další lidi.
And other people than me, so I just repeated my story over and over.
Dokola opakoval, že jsem ty doklady
And that I lost the
ztratil.
papers and I couldn't speak
Pak už jsem
anymore.
nemohl ani mluvit. Vždycky si mě vytáhl
Over and
z
over,
scény
they would take me from my cell, put me in a lineup, and yell at me.
a přitom na mě zvali, že jestli nepromluvím,
That if I didn't
tak
speak
mě
up,
nechají
they would
popravit.
execute me.
Navíc do toho zamontovali, že
And they also
schvaluju
accused me of
atentát.
approving of the assassination, but that didn't get anything out of me in the end.
Nebylo
wasn't
to
easy.
jednoduchý. No, pak asi už
I guess they
jsem
finally
zjistil,
realized
že
they wouldn't get
bude,
anything out of me, so they let me
tak
be.
mě nechali bejt. Po nějaký době
After a while, they transferred me to the prison in the small fortress of Terezin.
do malé pevnosti v Terezíně.
Figure out what. Okay, well, figure out what role Egon played. Well, let's go to. So some time after your arrest, they transported you from Prague to Terezin.
Ano,
Yes, to the small fortress. That's where they put people mainly from the resistance,
tam
but
dávali
also the criminals.
lidi, hlavně za odboj, ale taky kriminálníky. Ona to byla
It was a
vlastně
sort of
taková
police prison.
policejní
For me, it was
věznice.
a huge shock.
Pro mě to byl teda obrovský šok, jak to tam
How awful it was there. Every day, people died of disease,
denně
of hunger.
umírali lidi na nemoci, z hladu. A taky stačilo,
All it took
když
was
jste se
one person to
někomu
turn against you, and he would beat you with a
přímo
club or shoot
na
you
dvoře před ostatníma vás,
right there in the courtyard in front of everyone.
nebo taky
I
zastřelili.
got cell number 14.
Já jsem dostal celu číslo 14. To si budu.
I will always remember it. Both walls were covered in
Po obou
boards
stranách stěn byly prkený trojpatrový
to support
palanty.
3 level
Ta
bunk
cela
beds.
byla
The cell was
původně
originally
pro
meant for
40
40
lidí.
people,
Jenže ve skutečnosti
but in reality, many more of us were crammed
se nás tam
inside.
muselo směstnat mnohem víc. Slavníci
Straw mattresses,
taky byli
they had
úplně
completely crumbled apart.
vydrolení,
So in
takže se
reality, we
vlastně
slept on
spalo
bare
na holých
boards.
prknech. A v té celé
And in the cell in the
rohu
corner with
bez
no
zástěn
partition
stála
stood
jedna
one toilet bowl
záchodová mísa a ze zdi
and a single
koukal
cold water
jeden
faucet that
kohout
jutted out of the wall.
se studenou vodou. Většina
Most of the
bachařů,
guards were bastards.
co byli
Some guy named
jogurti,
Rokio stood watch over the
nad
courtyard.
dvorem měl dozor nějaký Rojko, Němec.
He was German,
ale z
but from the
protektora.
protectorate. I once witnessed
jsem
him
zažil,
beating a
jak
prisoner
O jednoho vězně rozštípal násadu od koštěte.
with a broom handle. And then there was Schmidt.
No,
He
to
was
byl
also a
taky
bastard.
holomek. Řekněme,
I'd say maybe 2 guards were all right, and within 14 days they were transferred to the Assenkommando.
no asi po 14 dnech jsme šli na Außenkommanda. To se chodilo
People were sent
pracovat,
from their prison to work
ven
different
z
jobs.
pevnosti.
The Reichsbach was one of the terrible work details.
Bylo Reichsbahn. Tam se
From where we had to repair railroad tracks, load train cars, that's where I started.
Samozřejmě začínal. Dráha
The railways provided us with soup. It was basically colored water, but warm.
byla to spíš pobarvená voda, ale teplá. Tady jsem zůstal nějakou
I stayed there for some time until I got into a rather good work detail.
No celkem dobrý komando. Krankenbau. To byla nemocnice.
That was a
v
hospital
Litoměřici.
in Lüdecke. Our job was to clean plaster off bricks
A káceli kaštany.
and cut down chestnut trees.
Německý
The
sestry
German nurses
nám
sometimes secretly
občas
gave
tajně podstrčili chleba.
us
s
bread and
masem.
butter. I can't imagine what this guy's gone through. I mean, this guy has lived just a terrible, terrible life. Holy cow. Okay. Reparation.
Jste zažil na konci
Did you experience the death marches?
Naš-
Fortunately, no. I was lucky enough to fail ill
Já jsem
at the Buchenwald
v tom
before the end of the
Buchenwaldu
world.
Před koncem války, těsně před koncem války, měl to
Right before the
štěstí
end of the world, so instead I was sent to a district camp
a tím pádem jsem se dostal na revír, kde jsem se
where I was
dočkal
finally freed.
osvobození. Jinak
If not for that, the death transports were still running, and many people did not survive.
Americká armáda
Anyway, the U.S. Army took over the district camp and set up a field hospital there.
Nemocnici, tam jsem ležel.
I recuperated there for quite a while, I think. I probably had several illnesses at the same time.
Těch nemocí najednou. Pamatuju se.
I remember that while I was there, I met a young, lively girl, a Czech Roma, who appeared in the camp.
Se objevilo takový mladý, čiperný děvče, cikánka z Čech, což
I was very
jsem byl
happy about
hrozně
this
rád,
because I had
protože
someone to
jsem měl
talk
s kým
to.
povídat. Jmenovala se
Her name was Marie. She was an
Marie
amazing,
Červeňáková.
vivacious girl
Úžasná taková vitální holka, která to
who'd also
měla
been through a
taky za
lot.
sebou
She had been in
spoustu.
Auschwitz,
Tam byla v Osvětimi,
Ravensbrück.
byla v Ravensbrücku. Nějaký
I guess she didn't miss a
transporty
single
taky
deportation,
neminuli,
but as
ale
soon as she was able
jak
to
se dala
compose
trochu
herself,
dokupy, hned
she
začala
started working in the
pomáhat
kitchen and helped
v
out with the
kuchyni
patients.
anebo při ošetřování a já potom,
Later, she was getting ready
když
to
taky
leave.
odjížděla,
All the other
protože
Czechs had
vlastně
departed
všichni
long
Češi
ago.
už dávno odjeli. Tak jsem
I asked her if she wouldn't
poprosil,
mind
jestli
visiting
by
my
se
wife at our apartment in
vystavila v
Prague to
Praze
tell her
u
in
mý
person
ženy a neřekla jí přímo osobně, že jsem v pořádku,
that
že
I was
žiju.
okay, that I was still alive.
Po válce jsem se s ní
After the
ještě
war, I saw her several
několikrát
times because she
viděl,
needed to
protože
prove to the government that
ona potřebovala na svazu doložit, že byla v těch
she was
lágrech,
actually a camp
protože
survivor,
spousta
because many of the
lidí,
people
co tam bylo s ní, skoro
who were
všichni
there with her, almost
prostě
all of them,
zemřeli.
have died. Okay, Auschwitz.
Z malé pevnosti jste se
You were
dostali
moved
do
from the
Auschwitzu.
small fortress to Auschwitz,
Ano,
right?
ano.
Yes,
Tehdy
yes.
nás
30,
od Terezína
30 of us
asi
with Terezin
30
were sent at the same time.
vrátili
They
nám
gave us
naše
back our
oblečení.
clothes. They
Eskortovali
escorted
nás
us in a personal
osobním
train. At
vlakem.
night, we stopped at some prison
V noci
or another,
nás vždycky odvedli do nějaký věznice, kde jsme přespali.
where we
a
slept, and
ráno
in the morning we continued on,
zase
or until we arrived in
pokračovali
Auschwitz.
a až jsme dojeli do té Osvětimi. A tam hned,
They sent us
jak
straight
jsme
into the prison,
vystoupili, nám
took off our
sebrali
clothes,
naše
and sent us into the showers,
oblečení, poslali nás do těch koupelen, kde nás
where they bathed us,
koupali,
deliced us,
pošivili,
and then they shoved us out into
tak
the
jak jsme
courtyard
byli,
as we
nás
were,
vyhnali ven na dvůr a tam jsme museli stát
and had to
několik
stand there for
hodin,
several hours until they
než nám
finally gave us
konečně
prison uniforms and
dali
wooden shoes.
táborový hadry a dřeváky a odvedli
They
nás
took us
na
to block number 9.
9.
That's
Tam
where
dávali
mostly
hlavně
put the newcomers.
jako nově příchozí. Tam nám jeden žid
There we were, sent to a Jew who tattooed numbers onto us. Countless people had already died there.
mrtvejch nepočítaně. I když o
Although at the
plynových
time we knew
komorách
nothing about the
věznice
gas chambers in
jsme
Brucknau.
tehdy ještě nic nevěděli. Z té devítky se chodilo
From Block
pracovat
9, we would go to
hlavně
work in the
na
Bauhof,
Bauhof.
which was a liquidation
To
work detail.
bylo likvidační komando. Tam se vykládali
There we unloaded
50
50 kilo
kilo
sacks of
s
cement.
cementem. Dovedete si představit,
Can you imagine how
že
strong we were,
jakou
given the
jsme měli
food we were
sílu?
eating?
50 kilo.
Good Lord, 50 kilos, and always snell, snell, snell. And in those wooden shoes, snells was really not an option.
A navíc já
Moreover,
nikdy nebyl
I was never
na
really
těžkou
built for
práci
hard labor.
nastavěnej. Byl jsem na tom
I was very bad
opravdu
off.
špatně. Jen si vezměte
Just
tu
think of the
stravu.
food, tea.
Čaj, kalí
Lord
herba.
only knows what it was made from.
Bůh ví, z čeho to vařili. A poledne
At noon, some of that soup from beets. And in the evening,
a večer kousíček
a little bit
chleba.
of bread with either margarine or that red artificial marmalade.
Taková ta červená umělá marmeláda. Anebo
Or liverwurst.
leverwurst,
Well,
no.
heaven knows what would ground it into that, though.
Naštěstí se
Luckily, a group of Czechs in the camp managed to arrange a transfer,
že jsem se dostal
and I was sent
do
into the
kempingský
tinsmith workshop. That turned out to be a fairly decent work.
celkem
What's up, Pam?
slušná práce a tam
While
tam
there,
jsem se
I made the
seznámil
acquaintance, to my
tím
very good
velkým
fortune,
štěstí, s nějakým Jakubem
of a guy named Jacob Hein,
Židem
a Czech
z
Jew.
Čech,
He saw that I had
který
no
když
idea
viděl,
what I was
jak
doing.
jsem bezradnej, tak mi všechno
So he showed me
ukázal,
around
řekl,
and
co
taught
a
me how to
jak.
do things.
A já mu byl vděčný.
I was grateful to him because, to be quite honest, he saved my life.
Mě tam vlastně zachránil život. Já
I would
jsem
give him
se
some of the
s
food
ním
that my
zase
wife sent to
dělil
me.
o jídlo z balíků, který mi posílala moje žena. Hein,
Because he was a
jako
Jew,
Žid,
Hein could not receive packages.
žádný balík
And anyway,
dostávat nesměl.
who would he get them from?
Taky od koho. Díky tomu jsme
Thanks
se
to me, we
přátelili
became
a
friends, and
já
I
si
think
myslím,
his
že
respect
jsem
for me grew even more.
stoupnul v jeho očích, když jsem mu vyprávěl,
When I told him
jak
about
jsem
how
se
hard I tried to
snažil
help Egon.
pomoct Egonovi. No, ale v létě
Well, in summer 1944, we
1944
said goodbye because they
jsme
sent
se
me and the other
rozloučili,
Czechs
protože mě a ostatní Čechy poslali
back
do
to Buchenwald.
Buchenwaldu.
Wow. Okay, tons of information there. Holy cow. Well, wow. Yeah, we got everything there. Okay, now we can talk to Jacob and maybe let's go. I mean, might as well just go to Jacob, right? Grandpa's fellow prisoner at Auschwitz. As a Jew, he was persecuted during the war.
Hele, kupovat nic nechci, žádnou výhodnou pojistku.
Come on.
Petice nepodepisu a Bibli už taky mám.
Are we going to be able to say something? I'm Jindrich, a guy recently found out you helped him out. I'd like to learn more.
Jo, Jindrich,
Well,
no proč to
Why
neřekneš?
didn't you say that in the first place?
Si furt říkám,
I was
jestli
wondering if
něco
something
nestalo,
happened to
když
him.
přestal
He
chodit
stopped
na
coming to our
šestnáct.
meetings.
No tak pojď dál.
Oh, come in, come in. Grandpa said a lot of nice things about you. You allegedly saved his life in Auschwitz.
To jsou silná slova.
Those are strong words, but of course I remember him.
On byl taková hužvička.
He was as
vypadal,
fragile
že
as a
moc
twig.
nevydrží,
He looked like he
vydrží
wouldn't
pár
survive,
týdnů a
like he'd
bude
last a
konec,
couple of
ale
weeks and that's it.
měl velkou vůli
But he had a
přežít.
strong will
A
to
měl tu
live.
výhodu,
I had
že
an
jsem
advantage.
musel
I was
zase
very
něco
skilled at my job.
Dělal jsem v
I
klempířské
worked in the
dílně,
tinsmith workshop
tak
and
jsem
I would
mu občas
occasionally help your
pomoct.
grandpa out.
My jsme se
We became very
docela
good
se
friends.
spřátelili. To bylo důležité.
It was
držet
important to stick
pohromadě.
together.
Občas
Sometimes
se
he would help me in
pomohli.
return.
Prožili jsme toho
We
spolu
went through a
hodně.
lot together.
Třeba jednou v
For
létě.
example, I remember
To
one
byly
extremely hot summer in
předtím
Auschwitz.
velký horka. Žízeň jsme měli.
We were so thirsty. Oh, now we're in the concentration camp. Jeez, oh Pete.
Nasadili nás na
They sent us to
svou
build a new
továrnu.
factory, and we had to carry bricks and bags of cement.
Pytle s cementem. Byli jsme
We were
zaprášení,
covered with dust
vysušení
and
jak
completely
pesk.
parched.
Přitom žízeň je
Thirst
horší
is
než
worse than hunger.
hlad se
You can
dá
suppress
udělat,
hunger, but you
ale
can't
žízeň
stop
se
being
nezbavíš.
thirsty. Move! What sort of slacking off is this? Hein. Jelinek. You are tinsmith. Come with me. In order to dismantle it, we have to level this shack to the ground. Take out everything made of metal and put it in that pile in the middle. Do you understand?
Narazil jsem na
I
zbytek
came
pokoje
across some
nebo
old
trubky.
plumbing, and there was a
Bylo
bit of
mě
water
ještě
in the
trochu
pipe.
vody. Nejprve jsem ji chtěl
At first, I
vypít
wanted to
sám.
drink all of
Pak
it, and
jsem
then I
si
said to
říkal,
myself,
co zítra?
what about tomorrow?
Chvíli jsem váhal.
I hesitated for a
Takhle jsem se
moment, and
rozhodl
then I
podělit
decided
si.
to share. Heinrich, come here, quick.
Mysleli jsme, že
We
nás
thought
někdo
no one
nevidí.
had seen us. Oh, but people did.
Cítili jsme se
We
trochu
felt slightly
provinili,
guilty,
ale
but
utěšovali jsme se
reassured
tím,
ourselves
že ta trocha vody
that this tiny amount of water wasn't enough for everyone.
po osvobození
After
jsem měl
liberation,
kamarád
another
z
friend
komanda
from the work
Alberta.
duty asked me,
Proč vy dva ano,
water
já
for the
ne?
two of you, but none for me?
Na to se jedalo odpovědět.
There wasn't anything I could say. Did my grandpa tell you why they arrested him?
Moc toho nevím.
I don't know much. Your grandpa did not like talking about it. I
I
know he had something to do with a friend that Jindrich tried to help. But it didn't end well. Heinrich really felt guilty about it, like it was his fault. But that's complete nonsense. Jindrich helped him a lot. And I would expect that the Germans caught him in the end. He was a Jew. It couldn't have ended otherwise. But I had the impression that the whole thing really bothered Heinrich. So I didn't want to press him on it. We didn't talk much about it though. In the camps, it was more about daily survival. Find a piece of bread, avoid the capo, get through the selection. Auschwitz, I don't like thinking about it. It was a bad dream. All those memories, they take me back. I put them in a box and shoved the box in the closet. I don't like thinking about it. Could I please look at that box? Okay, we get to look in the box. Okay, what we got here? It frightened me when these things started happening again after the war. When the communists started talking about Jewish plots of Zionist conspiracies.
Začali se malovat
and people
karikatury
began
s
drawing
velkými hnutými nosy.
caricatures of Jews with big noses.
No a nakonec
And ultimately, the party
jako
transformed the
vrchol
general
z
secretary
prvního
Rudolf
tajemníka strany
Slavansky
Slánského udělali Žida
into a
Salzmana.
Jew named Salzman and executed him.
To už jsem
That is the
definitivně
moment I
ztratil
completely
jako
lost faith in
politický
communism.
komunismus. Když se v protektorátu
As it gradually started to
začaly
implement
zavádět
the Nuremberg laws
nuremberský
in the
zákony,
Pretoria,
tak museli
all employees had to fill out this form that declared their origins.
vyplnit takový formulář s prohlášením o svém původu. Já jsem neměl
I had
co
nothing to
prohlášovat,
declare because
protože
my grandparents were
moji
Jews,
prarodiče byli Židi, takže jsem v
so my
občance
ID card was
měl
stamped with a big
jaký
J for Jew.
jako Jude. Nebyl jsem
I was
Čech,
no longer a
byl
Czech,
jsem Žid.
I was a Jew.
Krátce předtím jsem
Shortly
dostudoval
before that, I had finished
architekturu,
studying architecture, and I
byl
was
jsem
working for
státní
the government,
zaměstnanec, ale velice brzo
but they
byl
fired me
odvolán.
very quickly.
Kolegové
My
se mě
colleagues
vyhýbali.
avoided me.
Nesměl jsem
I couldn't go to the
kam jsem rád
cafe that I like to
chodíval.
visit.
Nesměl
I
jsem
couldn't get on the
chodit na
train, or if so, and only in a separate car.
vyvážených oddělení. Zbytl jsem
I
se
had to
musel
move out of my apartment. Okay, that.
Byl jsem komunista.
I was a communist. I
Do
joined the
partaje jsem
party after
vstoupil
the
po
war.
válce, byli jsme plní
We had so many
ideálů.
dreams,
A po těch hrůzách
and after the horrors that endured during the war,
jsme všichni
we
byli
all were
přesvědčeni,
convinced that we
že
had
se
to
to
make
musí
things better.
zlepšit. Jenže pak se to
But
všechno nějak
everything
ukázalo.
began to fall apart.
Takže již mě v 70.
So when the
letech
communists
nepohodili.
expelled me in 1970, it didn't bother me at all.
Takový zážitek
Such
se
an
nedá
experience,
vyslovit.
you cannot describe it with words.
O tom,
I can't
o
talk
tom
about it.
nemůžu mluvit.
I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you. Wow.
Po válce se všichni
After the
brali
war,
na Němce.
everyone pounced on the Germans.
Bralo se to tak, jako
Everyone
že válku můžou jenom
accepted that the
oni,
war was
jeden
their
jak
fault
druhý.
only, each and every one of them.
Nikomu se nechtělo
No one
moc
wanted to
rozlišovat,
distinguish
protože to
between them
bylo
because it was
jednodušší.
easier that way.
Kolikrát stačilo německý
Oftentimes you
příjmení, aby si měl
need it was a
problém.
German name.
Já jsem vždycky
I had to
ukazoval,
show
že
them my
jsem
tattoo from the
zkoušel
camps or the certificate of
prohlášení
national
o
and political
národní
reliability.
spravedlnosti. No, to je ten papír,
The stamped
který
piece of
jsem
paper
vlastně
actually
zachránil
saved my
moje
grandparents from
prarodiče
being
před
expelled,
osudem. Jenom protože mluvili
all because they
německy.
spoke German. Okay, save this one for the last.
19. září 1:40.
It was a Friday.
Pamatuju si to jako dneska, byl to pátek. Od té doby
From that date forward,
museli všichni
all I had to
nosit
wear
to označení.
that yellow star.
Když jsem vyšel na ulici,
When I went
jsem si
into the
připadal
street,
jak
I
prašivý.
felt so filthy.
Jak lidi viděli
As
tu
soon as
žlutou
people saw
ruku,
my star, they looked
uhýbali
away
pohledem a nechtěli se podívat.
and tried to avoid making eye contact.
Ale nás
But in a
to
weird
jsem
way,
jsem
it just
to
brought us Jews closer
Já jsem si
together.
vůbec
I originally
nepřipadal
didn't feel
jako
like a
Žid.
Jew at all.
Dědeček byl Němec,
My grandpa was German,
babička
my
byla
grandma was
Židovka,
Jewish,
žila taky jako Němka.
but she was a German in every
No,
way,
já jsem
and I was a Czech. I felt like a
Jableček,
Czech.
jsem si připadal jako Čech. No a najednou,
And then all at once, I
jako
felt
člověk už jsem si připadal jenom mezi těma ostatními.
just like all the other
kteří
people who
nosili
had to
žlutou
wear the
vestu
yellow
stejně jako
star,
já.
just like me. Did we miss something? We looked at all that, looked at all this. Why is it still up there then? How do you think it's possible that something like that could have happened?
No, já
Well,
nevím, jak si
I
to
don't know how to
vysvětlit.
explain
Někdo
it.
říká, že za
Some
všechno
people say
může
that Hitler
Hitler,
or Eichmann
nebo
was
Eichmann.
responsible for
Chytili
everything.
ho, popravili ho.
Who they captured and
Ale
executed,
já
although I
jsem z
had
toho
mixed
neměl
feelings
dobrý
about that.
pocit. Myslím si, že
I don't think you
tím
can
se to
explain
vysvětlit
things
nedá.
like
Nedá
that.
se to
You can't
svést
blame
všechno
everything
na
on one or
jednoho,
two
na dva
people.
lidi. Nedá se to svést na jednu
You
politickou
can't blame everything on
stranu.
one political party.
Je udivující
It's astounding
a
that and
nepochopitelné,
incomprehensible that the entire
že
nation,
celý ten národ, lidi,
normal people
normální
like you and
lidi,
me,
jako
did not
seš ty
see
nebo
what was
já,
going on,
že neviděli, co se dělo. A dělali
and that they
všechny ty
helped do
hrozný
terrible
věci.
things.
Jak je to možné?
How is that possible? Do you think that the people who caused your suffering were punished?
Já když jsem po válce
When I watched the
sledoval
Nuremberg
nuremberský
trials after the
proces,
war,
tak jsem měl pocit,
it felt like
že
they
se
were
tam
talking
mluví
about
o
something
něčem
completely different.
úplně jiným, než co jsem za války
than
v
what I
koncentráku
survived in a
prožil.
concentration camp during the war.
Já jsem
I did not feel any need to
nepocitoval
punish.
nějakou touhu trestat. Já byl rád, že to skončilo.
I was glad that it was
že
over
to je všechno za mnou.
and it was all behind me.
A u nás
But among the
lidi
Czech public, it was clear
Ty měli
the
jasno.
Germans were responsible for
za
everything,
všechno můžou Němci a ty je potřeba
and it was
nemyslně
necessary to
potrestat.
punish them mercilessly.
Babička byla židovka,
My grandma
takže
was
si
a
kvůli
Jew,
tomu za
so
války
during
taky dědeček
the
může
war,
myslet.
her and grandpa had to endure.
No a po válce,
But then after the war,
kdybych se
had
do
I
toho
not
býval
intervened,
nevložil,
they would have been expelled from our
tak
country
museli
as
do
Germans.
odsunu. No a
It was around that
té
time
době
that I developed
už
that
jsem
bitter
začal
taste in my
cítit
mouth.
takovou trpkou pachuť, že zase
And
je
once
tady
again,
ta
people were
snaha
trying to punish a national group
potrestat šmahem
collectively.
celý národ. To, co se dělo za války,
What happened during the
to,
war,
co jsme si
what we
prožili
lived
my,
through,
a chtěli jsme o
and
tom
what we're trying to
zapomenout,
forget all of a sudden
to se
is
zase najednou
returned.
vrací ve obráceným
But
směru.
had swung,
to, co se stalo,
but what happened to there
to
was no
stejně
way of
nešlo
rectifying it.
Ale dobře,
Anyway, it
že
was
jako
good
mladý
that you are
člověk
interested
se
in
o to
this,
zajímáš. Ale já už ti k tomu
but that's all I
nemám
have to
co
say.
říct. Tak pojď.
So come
Já tě
along,
doprovodím.
I will accompany you.
Pozdravuj dědečka.
Say hello to your grandpa.
Měj se hezky, nazdar.
Take care. Goodbye. We got everything but one. Okay, we can talk to her again, probably. Now that we have new information. Grandpa's going for the road. Okay, yep. Let's talk to this Marie.
Dobrý den.
I wanted to ask whether you remember my grandpa. You allegedly met each other during the war.
Víte,
Do you have any idea, my darling, what I've gone through?
co já jsem všecko zkusila? Pochod smrti,
Death marches,
zvěrný
concentration
rád
camps,
a ten zmatek.
and all the chaos. It was awful.
Strašnýho. Však já už jsem předtím
I'd already
byla
been
v
in Ravensbrück and Auschwitz before the repatriation
a
camp,
tam jsem přišla
and I had lost my whole family.
lety.
But the camp in Lety,
to byl snad nejhorší.
that was quite possibly the worst of them all. Lety concentration camp, 1943. Work details on the roadway, Lety segment. The following: Roskarial Daniel, Roskarial Miroslav, Estonia Emily, and Serviga Antonia. Work detail on roadway, stairs, Sedlo segment. The following other names: Anne Marie, Stravonka. You will go to the kitchen. But they assigned me to stairs. Get to the kitchen. If we don't get this garbage cleaned up, we will never get rid of this swine typhoid. Do you think I want to die here in this rubbish? What did you say, pesky auntie, to get him to assign me with you in the kitchen? As if. The guard beat Bozina so hard. Her back is colored like a rustic trunk. Ha ha ha. I don't think this would be a funny. Don't laugh too much. It's true. They beat us like we weren't even human. What are you doing here? The commander sent me here. You are Marie, right? You know, Marie, you're a very pretty girl. Well, look here what our young little thief is hiding. I will come for you this evening. Not good. This is so captivating. I almost haven't moved since you started playing. Thank you very much, Tater. Oh, Henty, this is coming for me again, and I will have to submit to his will. You have to get out of here immediately. But how? When I take the trash out to the forest, usually they don't watch me. The trash dump is half a kilometer from the camp. This evening you will go with me, but won't return. I'll tell them you were with me at night. In the morning, get on the train and go find the Riska family in Prague. They live in Holoviz. Marie is your second godmother. They haven't deported her yet. They look too white. See you later, True. Thanks a lot for sticking around, though. Maybe they will help you. I know you want to stay, though. You want to see the end of this. I was able to escape the camp and couldn't let them catch me. I had to get to Prague, but I had no money and no proper clothes. You have to choose the route Mary should take. You have very little time. Probably not the meadow. I'm assuming the hills or the forest. Let's go the hills. We'll stick with the hills. Ranger station. All right. Think we got there. Steal clothing. Yes. Don't want to do it, but we had to. Okay, now we're going to stick to the forest. Back to the hills. Train station. I think we're getting by. Woman farmer. Let's talk to her. Excuse me. I lost my wallet and I need to get to Prague. Sorry, I won't give you any money. Okay, what about the mom? Excuse me. I lost my wallet and I need help. Money for the train. I don't have much, but I can spare a bit for the train. Thank you very much. Haha, I hid there for several months. Someone must have seen me and contacted the authorities. After they found me, they arrested the entire Ruska family and sent us all to Auschwitz. Well, that wasn't good. In the end, they caught me. Can you really forget something like that? Forget the horror? It's impossible. How did you ultimately manage to survive? Lots of luck and a will to live. When I heard that they were picking people for work, I immediately signed up for a train with a lot of people. And they took us to Ravensbrück to work. That's how I survived that awful war. Those who stayed behind, sadly, were gassed. You must have hated the Germans. Is that familiar to you? Do you have any idea how many people I met back then? You would have to remind me. Am I in his diary? Yes. What was your grandpa's name again? Jelinek. Yes, I met him, but not until after the war. I'd like to know more about how you met my grandpa. Because they moved me out of Ravensbrück and sent me to a camp, another camp. And then they pulled us out of that camp and sent us on to a death march to Buchenwald. There were only a few women, otherwise it was all men. We were up front, we walked up front, and sometimes, or rather often, we heard gunshots. It then occurred to us that people who couldn't go on or who walked too slow or fell behind
tak ho zastřelili.
They shot them.
A takhle jsme šli několik
And then we
dnů.
walked this way for several days.
Odtamtud šli zase
They
další
continued
transporty.
transporting prisoners from
Ale my
there,
jsme tam
but we
zůstali.
stayed behind.
A pak přijeli
And then the
Američané,
Americans came
zřídili tam takovou
and set up a field
ošetřovnu,
hospital
kam dali nemocný a
where they
raněný.
put sick and injured people.
Tam jsem potkal
I met your grandpa
vašeho
there.
dědu. Byla jsem nějakou
I was
dobu
sick for a
na
while
Maltě
too.
a když jsem se částečně
And when I started to
zotavila,
feel better,
trochu jsem
I helped the
doktorům
doctors out.
pomáhala. Bylo tam
There were a
spoustu
lot of
cizinců,
foreigners there,
kterým jsem nerozuměla.
and I couldn't understand them.
Najednou
Then all of a sudden I
jsem
heard
slyšela
Czech.
češtinu.
Could someone bring me some water?
Pár dní jsem se o
I
něj
took care of him
starala.
for a couple of
Byl
days.
chudáček, celý
What a poor
zubožený
soul.
a měl
He
horečku.
was run down and had a
Moc
fever.
jsem toho
There
dělat
wasn't much I
nemohla.
could do.
Jen jsem mu podávala
I just gave him
vodu a
water
vyměňovala
and
obklady.
changed his compresses.
No, na svazu
Yes, at the Union of Anti-Fascist Fighters.
Po válce jsem
After the
chtěla
war, I
naše
wanted to
zapomenout.
forget everything.
Ale jak roky šly,
But as the years went by, my
tak
joints
mě
and my hips
začaly
began to
zlobit
hurt.
klouby, kyčle. A z toho koncentráku
I brought back all
jsem
sorts of
se
ailments from those
přinesla
camps and still haunt me to
takový
this day.
neduhy, který mě teď tíží. Můj manžel Pavel
My
mi
husband
říkal,
Pavel said to me,
"Zkus to.
try to ask the government
Jdi
about
se
some sort of
zeptat, jestli
compensation
by ti
or
nedali
disability
nějaké
payment.
odškodné nebo invalidní důchod, jako to dali třeba si paní Danielovi.
So they gave it to another person.
Tak jsem ho
I listened to him and applied for it,
šel jsem si zažádat o to. A ono to
and it
vyšlo.
worked out.
A hodně mi zařídil.
The grandpa
až
really
večer,
helped me sort it all out.
protože
He
mi
testified that I'd been in the
dosvědčil,
camp with him.
že jsem byla v tom koncentráku a taky mi zařídil.
He also helped me
vlastně
arrange
ty
visits to
moje
medical
bolové
spa
nohy,
facilities for my
klouby.
leg and joint
To jsem
pain.
byla hrozně
I
ráda
was
a
very
vděčná.
happy and appreciative for that. The union was some sort of communist organization, right?
No,
Well,
komunista.
communist.
Hlavně to
The
fungovalo.
main thing was that it worked.
Víte, že ještě za
Did you know that
první
even before the
republiky
war,
jsme
under the
museli
Republic,
povolení,
we needed permits?
aby jsme mohli do
just to go into
města a
town?
museli jsme
We had to
se
notify
hlásit
the police.
četníkům. Co myslíte? Jaké
What
to
do you
byla
think it was
doba?
like in those days?
A proto my jsme tím
So yes,
komunistům
we
hrozně
really
věřili.
believed in the
Ale
communists,
potom se to
but all that fell
pokazilo.
apart in the end as well. Do you remember anything about my grandpa?
Ano, mluvil.
Yes, he spoke to
A
me about
zavřeli
it.
ho jenom
They arrested him
proto,
simply
že
because he
pomohl
helped his
jednomu
Jewish
Židovi.
friend.
No, ale měl štěstí
And he was a
ještě
lucky
v
one.
neštěstí,
He was
protože
able
se
to
vrátil
return
domů
home
ke
to his
své
family.
rodině. A moje rodina.
I lost my
celá
entire
rodina.
family,
Nebo těm Židům.
as did many Jews.
Jednou jsem po válce
I met a
tam,
guy who once
ten
had
se
this
jim
happen to
nedal
him.
zavřít do
He didn't let himself get sent to the camp.
Ten jim
He ran
utíkl,
away and hid,
schovával se.
and even fought in
A
France.
dokonce bojovali ve Francii. Po válce.
After the war, he
se
settled in Zatek.
usídlil s vojákama
That's where
v
we met.
Žatci A tam jsme se poznali. Byl to fešák.
He was handsome. I
Moc
liked
se
him a
mi
lot,
líbil. Já jsem se mu taky
and he
líbil.
liked me.
Ale odešel do
But he
Izraele.
left for Israel.
Nic ho tu nedrželo.
There was nothing to keep him here.
Jenže nezapomněl
But he
na
didn't
mě.
forget me.
Posílá mi každý
He still
rok
sends me cards each year
blahopřání
for my
k
birthday.
narodeninám. Mému manželovi
My
se
husband
to
doesn't like it
nelíbí,
much, but he tolerates it.
ale toleruje to. Hodně radost.
Lots of joy for many years to
Další
come.
dojem.
Egon.
Egon Mareš.
Egon lived. Ho ho! They played in the band together.
To nebude on, to bude asi
It couldn't be the
shoda
same
mé,
person. It's a coincidence.
protože on byl voják.
This guy was a soldier.
Ale jestli chcete,
If you
tak
want, I
můžu
can give
dát
you the address. Oh,
adres
heck yeah, we're going to him
poslední
from the last
lednice,
postcard he
co
sent
mi
me.
poslal.
Thank you very much. Oh, we're going to Egon. Oh, we got everything from her. Okay. Egon. Grandpa's fellow student and friend from the band. Despite being Jewish, he avoided deportation during the war. What's up, Crimson? I'm grandson. I was told that my grandpa was sent to a cornerstone because of you. What happened to him? I sent you a message. You replied that we could speak on the phone. I'd like to ask you some things about my grandpa. Yep. Yes, yes. It looks like this will take a while. You know what? I will put you on speakerphone, okay? Just a second. I'm going to tell you right now, Crimson, you are coming in way late, and a lot of this things that's going on, you're not going to understand. I'm just letting you know. So, glad you're here, though. I heard that you managed to escape deportation.
No,
Don't be afraid to say it. Let's say it out loud and clear. To them, I was nothing more than a Jew. I had no clue at the time. That's when lineage would be so important. You see, to my father, it wasn't all that important. My father was a Czech patriot. And he pushed me in that direction toward Czech patriotism. That's why he sent me to a Czech high school. And it was there during my studies that I met your grandpa. And you met my grandpa during the war? Well, you know, it goes during the war, you know, it was an expedition. We each had our own separate worries. Plus, Jindrich got married. He became a husband, and he had to look over his family and so on. Actually, to tell you the truth, we hadn't seen much each other in 2 years. It wasn't until 1942, sometime in the spring. And I was in some kind of trouble, and I met up. Exactly. I didn't get on the deportation train to Jindrich. I ran away. Of course, at the time, it was a different story. In short, that was the main reason why the police started to pursue me. That's when I started to be afraid. And your grandpa felt it. He helped me a lot by using his documents to forge me a fake ID. Using his name with my photograph. Okay, we're at the train station. Okay. I'm so glad that I didn't have to be around in this time of period. Hello. Did you get me those cigarettes? I almost forgot, friend. I have to go to Benzoff today for a package of food. I have to go on my day off, but I can't complain. At least I get fresh meat and lard, right? Well, if it's a haggle, I could go for you. It's dangerous, and if they caught you, you know what would happen to you. It's not that big of a risk. Crap, something's going on. These bastards are on the watch. Security checks will be strict today. Uh-oh. Ah! Halt! Oh, and he's gonna fall. He's gonna take a tumble. Yeah, it's all good. I forgot the jacket though, and that's where the papers were. Fleeing the train station, they shot at me and released their dogs. I ran for my life. Your task is to use the cards to construct the story of Egon's flight so he escapes his pursuers. Choose a card and drag it on the screen to his free spot. Alright. Maybe this card. And then this card to get away from the dogs. No, well, that's not good. They had their dogs search the entire river. They would have quickly found me in a tree. Fortunately, I got away. Yep, I didn't put the story together right. And that's how they found out his cards. Documents with my grandpa's names were in that coat. That's exactly the reason why I felt so guilty all this time. For getting Jindrich killed. Had I not lost that coat at the train station, he'd still be here instead of being sent to his death. Do you know what Grandpa had to go through because of that? But Grandpa's alive. You thought he was dead. What? Your Grandpa's alive? Oh Lord, I've suffered guilt for this since 1945. That I caused his death. And he's alive. Oh Lord, that's crazy. You see, right after the war when we came back, I took off and went straight to Heinrich's place. And saw that lady in the building manager. She told me that the Gestapo took Jindrich away to Auschwitz and that he never returned. Yes, and Lumidia, your grandfather, the Gestapo told Grandpa that you... Me and Dad, good grief. How were you able to survive the rest of the war? I came into contact with an illegal group that helped Jews. Yes, and then this group made me new ID documents. And their suggestion, I volunteered to work in the German Reich. And the time they were putting together a so-called Tolt organization. So they got us all together and sent us to France, where we were supposed to build the so-called Atlantic Wall. And of course, it did nothing in the end. To make a long story short, the Allies invaded. And we were, you could say, liberated. They immediately sent a group of us to England for basic training. And they sent us to Dunkirk, where we were assigned to a Czechoslovak armored unit. And it was with them that we arrived back in Prague in good health. Would you like to visit him? He'd be so excited to see you. With pleasure. Had I known that he was alive, I would have come much sooner. Let's go visit Grandpa. I think I've been to that airport. I've definitely walked across that bridge. The end. Wow, wow, bravo, bravo, holy cow. Such an excellent game, holy cow. Wow. A World War II game through the eyes of the survivors. I can see why this won multiple awards. It won the Amaze Award for Most Amazing Game. It won the Best Educational Game. It won the Best Learning Game, and it won the Best Game of the Year in 2017 in Czechoslovakia. It was also an Independent Games Festival finalist for Best Overall Game. I will make sure I drop a link in the description. I forgot to do that. Where you can actually pick up this game. And actually, there is a sequel to this game. And let me get you information on that. I should have been a little bit... The next game that is coming out is called Liberation, and it's dated in 1945. So it says it's a unique blend of an adventure gameplay and full motion video interviews with real actors. Discover the secret history of your own family in a captivating story about the reconciliation with a dark past. So, and that game just came out last month. So it's got very positive reviews. I'll put a link in for that one too in the description. But yeah, all highly rated games. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know how long this game was going to be, but yeah, there's no way I was stopping this game. I was pulling through. I was going to get to the ending here. So, but yeah, this fabulous game. I mean, to see it from the eyes of the survivors was completely unique. I mean, a very, very good game. Just extremely well made storytelling game. You know, of course, all factual and stuff like that. But yeah. So anyways, like I said, I'm going to put all that in the description afterwards. I want to thank you all for being here. Don't forget to check out the Syndicate. Every Monday at 3 p.m. we put out the Syndicate Investigations, where we go and see what Philip DeGrave and his master reporting skills are doing that day. And he's always getting down to the nitty-gritty of the story. On Wednesdays, we still have Welcome Home coming out. It will end in approximately 2 weeks. Don't forget, on Friday the 24th, we will be doing a live stream where you can talk to the actors, the writer, the director, the editor, all that stuff, and get all the background information on the game. There's lots of information on how the whole process and how we came up with Welcome Home and everything. On Fridays, we always do our multiplayer mayhem. And that starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then on Saturdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we do a podcast with upcoming games or movies. Usually they're about a week ahead before release. So, but again, guys, thank you very much for staying here. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Do all that fun little stuff. And until next time, guys, see you all later. See you around, guys.